Hello, and welcome to an exciting edition of Hidden in the Universal Vault. I'm Ryan, your host, and I welcome you to my view of The Portrait of a Lady. This is a costume drama from 1996 directed by Jane Campion. Now, if you don't know who Jane Campion is, well, she directed the movie The Piano, which I've never seen The Piano, but this has actually been re-released on DVD. I believe Shout Factory under the Focus Features branding. So that is why I counted it though. It's actually put up by Polygram Videos. If I can show you a better one. Right there, Polygram Video. I have covered a Polygram Video movie. I believe it might have been Canadian Bacon, I do believe. But I haven't covered anything. And this is also released by Gramercy Pictures with Polygram Pictures. And I have covered a few Gramercy Pictures movies, like Canadian Bacon, I think The Trigger Effect was another one, and a couple other ones, I'm not sure. But anyways, what did I think of The Portrait of a Lady? It was decent, I should say. I know a lot of people like this movie, but for me, I have a hard time watching these costume dramas, period piece movies, that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's talk about Portrait of a Lady. I'm going to run down the cast the best I can since it's very tiny. I'll go ahead and run them down. This stars Nicole Kidman, John Malkovich, Barbara Hershey. This also has Mary Louise Parker, Martin Donovan, Shelley Winters, Richard E. Grant, Shelley Duvall. Yeah, the two Shelleys are in this movie. Christian Bale, Viggo Mortensen, Valentina... I can't even pronounce that name. And Sir John Gielgud is in this from, I believe, he was the butler in Arthur. That's John Gielgud. So anyways, let's talk about the movie right now. Isabella Archer, here's the plot of the movie. Isabella Archer, a young woman of daring independence and equality, fierce desire. But her headstrong innocence is no match for the manipulation, I hope I'm getting that right, of her descriptions, I'm so bad on pronouncing things, her friend, Madame Mariel, and the devious Gilbert Osmond. So that's basically what the plot is about. So this, to me, is a costume drama from start to finish. So at the beginning of the movie, we see that Nicole Kidman is this strong woman, and she decides she wants to marry somebody, but she is not sure who to marry. Enter her uncle, who is played by John Gielgud. So he's dying, and he decides she doesn't know. Well, he's dying, so he decides to tell her, yes, please marry somebody. Enter Shelley Winters, who plays sort of like her friend, I do believe. And then we got Viggo Mortensen, who is the guy who has a relationship with Isabella. So then we get Christian Bale in another scene, and he's another person who is in a relationship with another one. This movie ultimately deals with relationships and how living through these relationships. The movie's set in 1872. No, 1874, if I can remember my years. So the 1800s was a very weird time period, and sort of that it was okay for somebody to date somebody that wasn't the right age. I hope I'm getting that right. John Malkovich plays a guy who is in a relationship with a 15-year-old who happens to be a cousin, which is just ew. So, but keep in mind, this is the 1800s, where in the 1800s, different things. So this movie feels at times like a silent movie, and it's at times it can, like when she's traveling on the train, it becomes this sort of the visuals turn into like a silent picture. So basically there's these like weird visual effects. Malkovich also does this weird thing where we get the spinning thing, hypnotism, and then we see a person's butt, and it turns out that we see Nicole Kidman, her character Isabella, with basically where she's topless basically in one scene. It's just kind of weird, but also kind of a cool visual effect, and just pretty much about that. It's just kind of strange, but kind of does work. Let's talk about there are the goods and bads. The goods are the performances are really good. Mary Louise Parker plays, I think, her sister or friend, something like that. I didn't know her first until The Voice, and she's wearing glasses, so I didn't even know that. So performance-wise, performances are good. Nicole Kidman is the standout. I think she is excellent in this role. But ultimately, it's dealt the fact that this is a costume drama. You had to really be you had to be the target audience to really appreciate the costume drama. And that ultimately comes down to if you like the costume drama or if you like this. But it was actually based on a Henry James novel, which he made another excellent story, the Turning of the Screw, which eventually would be turned into, well, The Turning, a movie I covered on the channel. And I liked The Turning. I thought The Turning was excellent. That movie was really good. This has good visual effects, but ultimately when it came down to that, I felt once again that it's a costume drama. And you really have to be the target audience for this. Although I almost finished this movie until it started to glitch, and then I had to rewind all the way from the end credits all the way back there to know what's going on. So I'm not going to tell you how it ends in the movie. You have to really watch it. I think, like I said, it's decent. It's not horrible. And I think performance-wise are really good. I just wanted more oomph into it. More of that to it. I wanted more. And I think, to me, this is not a horrible movie. I don't feel like I'm ever going to watch this again. But I gotta give Jane Campion credit. She's a really visually, she knows how to direct and visual styles. Kind of like her movie The Piano, and I've only seen clips of that movie. And now it's a costume drama. And again, you gotta be the target audience for this. For me, it's just not my type of movie. It's not my type. Though, did I enjoy the movie? Yes and no. Well, though I said before that the performances are the goods, the bads is because it's a costume drama. Now, I don't know. It's hard to say if I can recommend this, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything else I can say about this, though. I think so I will say this. Shelley Winters, you didn't really need to put her in the movie. It looked like she kind of felt bored with the role. It's kind of similar to Marlon Brando in that Christopher Columbus movie where he felt bored in that role. At times I felt like that with Marlon Brando in Christopher Columbus: The Discovery. The Christopher Columbus movie where he felt so bored. I felt the same way too with this. Like the visuals, I like how the visuals are really good. And I do believe, like I said, I do think Malkovich is good. Kidman is just, talk about an actress. She really does make the character. And the cinematography is really good. The music, the score in this is really good. It had, I'm trying to see who did the score to this. I can't think. Oh yeah, Wojciechowska Kella. I probably gonna get that wrong. His score in that is just phenomenal. It has that very chilling feel. It has that same type of score that Snow Falling on Cedars had. That type of score, although some parts in it, like at wintertime, did feel like I was watching snow falling on cedar. And that movie is excellent. That movie is phenomenal. This, on the other hand, is not terrible. It's not bad. It's just okay. It's just an okay movie. And so, Barbara Hershey's in this. As I said, she plays her friend. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say about it. More or less rambling. So, yeah, I don't want to make the video too long. It probably is going to be too long. So, at the end of the day, The Portrait of a Lady is just okay. I think The Turning's the better movie, in my opinion. But Henry James, I like to see more movies based on his work. And I feel like, again, The Turning is the better adaptation. And that was based on The Turning of the Screw, which would become The Turning. And that movie was set modern day, and that movie worked. This movie had this set in like the 90s, in modern day, when modern day closed. This movie would be a heck of a lot better. But as I said before, this movie isn't bad. I just wanted more. I wanted more in it. I wanted more of this movie, and that's what I'm going to classify with one word: more. But again, as I said, I digress. If you really want to check the movie out, I can probably say sure, but I don't feel like I'm ever going to watch this one again. But I will say Jane Campion is a really good director, and her directing in it, she has better pacing than something like Meanest Man in West, which had bad pacing and had bad dialogue. This had good dialogue, good pacing, though the movie felt a little bit too long for me. This movie is like almost, 144 minutes. It really felt long, and because I'm watching this late night, so yeah. So Portrait of a Lady, I guess it's okay, but that's really about it. So let's go ahead and rate this right now, guys. This is a really hard rating because I kind of went back and forth between the two ratings I was going to give it. Was I going to give this a 2 out of 5? Was this going to be a 3 out of 5? It's definitely not a 4 out of 5. For sure. And it's not a 5 out of 5. This is not even close to being a 5 out of 5. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the rating, and I'm going to rate it right now. I'm going to give The Portrait of a Lady a 3 out of 5. This was kind of like, I was kind of seesawing back and forth what I was going to do, what not do, but what I was going to rate it. Was it going to be a 2 out of 5 or a 3 out of 5? One of those two, I was going to go ahead and give one of them. But I landed on a 3 out of 5 because I felt like this wasn't a boring movie. At first it started boring, but it wasn't as boring as I thought. It's just not my movie and not my cup of tea, guys. But I'm glad I covered it from the channel, and I'm glad I did. So I figured, yes, let's go ahead. Yes, let's lock this movie at 3 out of 5 and call it a day. So yeah, The Portrait of a Lady isn't a horrible movie. I don't see myself go back and watch this again. Was I glad I watched the movie? Yes. Unfortunately, this is a movie that needed more time to cook. It really did. And I figured it wasn't a bad movie. It definitely wasn't higher than what I gave it. But I figured your mileage may vary. So if you want to check out Portrait of a Lady, I say for Nicole Kidman's performance, I would say definitely worth watching just for Nicole Kidman's performance. So that is my review of The Portrait of a Lady. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you do like the content channel, like, comment, subscribe, click the bell ring the bell to get the video notifications so you don't miss a single video on the channel, guys. I'm also on Letterboxd as well, so you can check me out there. Tons of content on my channel. So if you do like what you see, don't forget to click the subscribe button, and don't forget to click the bell, and don't forget to ring that bell, guys. It will definitely help out. So let me know what you guys think of The Portrait of a Lady. Did you guys like this movie? Let me know in the comments. I want to see what you guys, what's your thoughts on this movie. Was I wrong when I said? Clue me in if I missed anything. So yes, Portrait of a Lady. I guess check the movie out if you want to see acting from Nicole Kidman. If you want to see a performance from Nicole Kidman, that's good. This movie definitely is. Check out. Yeah, I will say yeah. Check it out if you do want to see Nicole Kidman's. If you do want to see, I'm just gonna leave it at that. So yeah, that's it, guys. And as always, keep watching those Universal movies.